A to the K.
To the K. To the K.
Royal Rumble
Yeah.
reactions review.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Stayed up late for this, didn't we?
Yeah,
As
we did.
always do.
5 in the
Annual
fucking morning.
tradition. What was that about? It's gonna be the
Kill
late.
Little Rock.
I know.
I kid.
2 years now. Been waiting. In case you don't know, Anthony is like just dying. So
That is true.
yeah, be prepared to hear a lot of coughing throughout this, and everybody leaves. Yeah, so we stayed up for it until bloody 5 o'clock in the morning, which is
5 in the
mental.
goddamn morning.
So let's talk about it, shall we? Let's talk about it. Women's Rumble kicked off the show. Bayley victorious. Right choice.
Yes.
Agreed.
That being said, like, okay, so I'm going to stress before I start moaning. You know, opinions, they're a personal thing, aren't they?
Mm.
This, you know, some elements of this may not be my cup of tea, and I'm probably going to express that in this discussion. However, I understand that a lot of people absolutely loved what went on in the entire pay-per-view, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to try and be overly negative or bitchy. I'm just going to say what didn't work for me and try and be fair and try and not be an asshole.
You're gonna Hulk Hogan it and say it doesn't work for you, brother. Okay.
So, yes, Bayley, an absolute perfect choice to win, and honestly would have been my choice in the predictions, except I was utterly convinced Jade was turning up and winning, and I was kind of half right.
You're half right there.
Yeah. So I totally get, like, to be honest, when you got down to the final 3, I don't know if we want to leap ahead to that, but when you got down to the final 3, I would have been happy with any single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as I'm concerned, result-wise, it was an absolute fucking win. Bayley totally deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
I've long said, you can go back and find it on a few different videos, she is the best horsewoman. An absolute fucking legend. She's worked with everything they've given her. This is a woman who I could never see being a heel, and absolutely fucking killed it as a heel.
Yeah.
Totally converted.
The character transformation from the hugger to the fucking ding-dong hello.
Yeah.
Like...
Crazy.
Yeah. Is
unreal.
Insane.
So, I totally think she deserves it, and I'm made up that she's gonna. You know what? Let's get to that point as well, because they said the winner was going to main event Mania.
Yeah,
and we're debating that, aren't we? Saying, well, does that mean that it's going to be a women's main event on night 1 and a men's main event on night 2?
I just can't see
anything that happens at the Chamber is not going to be main event worthy for Mania, which is interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
But they clearly said
now.
Main event.
It feels like CM Punk was definitely going to be winning the Chamber and definitely facing Seth Rollins in the main event of night 1.
But it's interesting because they clearly said in this Rumble main event they're going to go on to main event Mania. So, which I think is awesome. She definitely should main event Mania.
Yeah, I think so. But for some reason, I just don't think that they're going to do. And I guess, so she's not picked who she's going to face yet.
No.
No, on Raw, Rhea Ripley came down, kind of confronted her, and Bayley essentially said, well, I'll let you know my choice on SmackDown. And he was like, what the fuck? What do you mean? So, kind of makes you think that the logical choice here is going to be Bayley versus Io.
I get it. Oh, Rhea, I don't think I've had that before.
No. I've had that. We've got Bayley versus Rhea at home.
No, do you know what I mean? I'm kind of like, they would put on a banger of a match, to be fair.
They would.
I kind of want it.
I feel like it's written in the cards, though, that it's Becky and Rhea.
Okay.
Because then, again, it comes down to, well, if a women's title match deserves to main event one of the nights, who do you go with? Rhea and Becky or Bayley and Io? So that's where it gets very tricky. So, but they did say in commentary that the winner will go on to main event WrestleMania, so who knows what all that means.
Well, it said on the graphic as well. It was very, very clear about that.
I know. We also got to see Trinity, a.k.a. Naomi, return.
Yes.
Right, I don't want to say the crowd went mild. I think there was audio problems, and the crowd wasn't amazing. Right? I
agree. The crowd seemed a bit flat, but there was definitely some sort of audio issue there.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Because it felt like, to be honest, I have a couple of issues with Naomi's return, right? Is that, for starters, and this isn't her fault, but I've always kind of had an issue with their music. It takes me a sec to realise it's there. And that is an ongoing problem throughout the pay-per-view, but I will talk about that.
Yeah.
But initially I was like, who's this? I had to wait and figure it out. You saw the glowy feet and you realised pretty quick, right? But then commentary took longer than I think every fucker on the planet to even mention that she's back or make a big fucking deal. That baffled me. They should have made a much bigger deal about that return and drove us to it. Yeah. And they didn't really fucking say anything for a while. No. Like, she was practically in the ring before they were like, oh, it's Naomi, by the way.
I think Pat McAfee said, I feel it. As in, like, feel the glow.
Yeah.
But that was all anyone said. And it was
some poor commentary on this. They should have been off their seat. Like,
and
oh
then
my
Michael
God, she's
Cole
back.
like, oh, Naomi has returned.
Yeah.
Well done, Cole.
They should have made such a bigger deal, the commentary, and I think they let them down there.
Yeah.
Now, the audience, this is where I think I agree with you, there's probably some audio issue here, because when she was in the ring and you got a minute to digest, they started chanting welcome back, and you could hear that.
Yeah.
So you go, well, they're clearly hyped that she's back, but that crowd reaction, initially, you could barely hear it.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the music. The biggest problem with all the Rumble was for like 50% of the people in the match, you didn't know who the fuck was entering. Until you saw them or saw the Titantron. Yeah. Because the music is just like...
But there's certain things I'll forgive, right, where you go, Jordan Grace, even if you could have heard it, you're not familiar with their theme, so you'd have to see her come out and go, oh, fucking hell's Jordan Grace?
Yeah.
But the certain people, you go, your theme music's so generic and we're struggling to hear it, that, like, it was hard to be, like, I don't know, I think this is one area that the WWE, I really wish they go back to, like, more iconic music. The music... theme music side of things has just not been on point for a while.
No,
and you notice it with stuff like this when someone's music hits, it should be iconic and associated with them, like Seth, like Punk, like Brock, all these people who the minute the music hits, you're like, oh fucking hell, right? And I feel like there's a lot of not getting that at the moment, you know.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. But Jordan Grace, you mentioned, how cool was that?
Indeed.
And I was made.
Awesome.
I said it when we mentioned it on the news a little bit before, but I was made up by the reaction she got, because the big fear when you bring someone in who the WWE Universe doesn't really know is that it'll just be flat. But everyone was just like, oh, wow, Jordan Grace. And everyone seemed to know who she was, which is awesome. Since she's never been in the company, I thought was fantastic, really.
And it's nice that they sort of bridge the gap with the relationship with TNA with Mickey, who's iconic in both companies. And it's nice that, like you say, they've took a chance on someone who hasn't been in a WWE ring before, and she fucking absolutely, it was amazing. Yeah. She really fucking represented.
Yeah, hell yeah, she did. And we also got to see, you were right, Jade Cargill.
Goddamn right.
And the theme music wasn't...
No, it wasn't.
It was basically very similar to the AEW one.
I think we were debating whether it was the AEW one. The graphic was Jade Cargill's graphic.
Yeah.
So that
the graphic was the same. I think the intro was the same, but like the guitar riff was slightly different. But that whole storm is coming. It was like, wow, like we popped for it, didn't we? So,
exactly, yeah.
But that goes to show that makes a difference, because if you recognise it, and she killed it. Came in, picked up Nia Jax, flexed, threw her on the floor, kicked her in the face, picked her up and threw her out.
Like she was nothing.
What an introduction that was.
Yeah.
And she had a pretty good showing, to be fair. But yeah, didn't end up winning it.
Yeah, and again, like obviously we got down to the last three. Because we saw another surprise return.
We did. Is it in this next? Of course it is.
In Liv Morgan.
Yes.
And so great to see that she ended up in the final of this Rumble as well.
Do you know what really grinds my gears?
Go on.
Everyone shat on it because everyone was expecting AJ Lee. This is the biggest problem with things like this, is they get something in their mind that it isn't realistic. And when it doesn't happen, like I'd hate to come out at number 30 if I'm any of these, because it's almost like, unless it's something mind-blowing,
it's the person that everyone was hoping for.
It's like, it's mental. Like, I was fucking made up
waiting for Liv to come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she does. And it was I think they showed us some respect in the last Rumble. I think they showed us some respect in this, because the way they did the finish with Bayley, I thought was done really well, because she was opportunistic.
Yeah.
You know, Liv got to be the one who eliminated Jade,
starters,
but then Bayley just capitalized on that situation and just like, she didn't have a chance to think, did she? So how would you react to that? It's not. It wasn't like she got thrown over; she got done over. You know what I mean? So I think the respect they put on it, I think, was fucking awesome, and I love the way that they did the finish, because I think that is such a Bayley move.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, for the second year in a row, she's the runner-up. Always the bridesmaid. Still a chance for her to be the bride. But yeah, I was made up to see her back, and as you say, it was quite like a prominent position. You know, good showing for her. The fact she was allowed. The fact she eliminated Jade is a big thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope this means she's back, because I don't think she was on Raw. Well, I mean, we haven't seen Jade.
I'll be honest, they make some wild choices. Like, they're big on Nia at the minute, and this is no disrespect to Nia, but like, Nia got featured more on Raw, and like, when you go, well, look what happened in the Rumble, I don't think people were thinking about Nia, all due respect to her.
Yeah.
So WWE a bit confusing at times.
Yeah, so it's interesting, but yeah, the big shame for me was the fact that everyone now seems to think it was like a waste of a selection here coming back at number 30. They thought the same as all on the men's rumble because it was MJF. Like, come on.
I mean, you can find plenty of waste in terms of entrance in both rumbles, right? So you can find people you go, well, you could have just not done that call up and used the slot. Yeah. So you can't really call Liv's return a waste. It's just people get fickle about shit.
Yeah, agreed. And I will go on the record as saying I think we were both very happy with the finish and the ending to the rumble, but I think that this early phase of the rumble,
I think overall the rumble was okay.
Yeah,
I think there were highlights.
Yeah,
right. But I think you made a comment, and if you don't mind me putting this on it, that's it's like the runner through treacle, and I feel like that's the thing. The pace just seemed really slow for the most.
Yeah,
but there were some fantastic spots overall. It did what it needed to do. Like, people are like going, that was an amazing rumble. I'm like, let's calm down. There was a lot of great to take from it, and I'm not like, I don't want to shit on it too much, but it was quite slow paced, and there was, it was a bit unpolished at times,
Yeah.
But like, when I say there was highlights. Who's that on screen?
So Maxine Dupree and Chelsea Green, the two people I want to call out in a sense, because Maxine has been getting a lot of flack because of her Rumble performance. Because obviously there was that spot with Bayley where she tried to do like I don't even know what you call it, the fucking airplane thing, and it failed, and they tried it again, and even that wasn't great. And there's a couple of moments there, but I still thought she was good. I thought that her version of the way, like the scorpion, whatever it was that she did, was good. But yeah, she's been getting a lot of flack, which I think isn't. It was her first Rumble. And battle royals aren't exactly the easiest thing. You don't always know what to do in them.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts involved. And to be honest, like, the fact that she's working on herself and then just going, well, I'm here to be a valet, and fair play to her.
Exactly.
She's trying to develop her in ringside, and I think she's doing well.
Yeah, I don't think it was too bad, but
Chelsea was
fantastic.
Highlight of the Rumble.
Yeah,
for me, like the whole antics with Piper and Nia, and they just keep getting clobbered. The hairstyling on that was just fucking brilliant.
Like, I've always been a fan, but like, I don't know, I became more of a fan that night. I was just like, okay, she is something. Like, I hope they give her like some sort of singles push or something, because I think that she'll absolutely kill it. But
no, she was absolute gold in that Rumble. It really was.
She was fantastic. I don't know if we've got any more. The women's ones, no, we don't.
I was going to say, I don't think so.
Don't remember that spot in the women's rumble, but yeah. So that was the women's rumble. Bayley was the winner, and I don't know. I think she's going to go and pick Io, but we will see. It'll be revealed on SmackDown.
Indeed.
Then the match order was a bit funky, wasn't it? So after the women's rumble, we went to the men's WWE Universal Championship.
I can't figure this out, like, decision wise, because like I said to you, I joked to you, like, this is the piss break, and then it was the men's World Heavyweight title.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck's that doing on the piss break?
The only thing
I just spent an hour or so watching a rumble.
Yeah, it's like an hour and 20 minutes, wasn't it? The women's one, to be fair. But surprised this was second. I thought, like, if you think of the previous year, the Roman match went on last after both the rumbles.
Yeah.
And this year,
I mean, maybe I understand why they might have went away from that, because people were all rumbled out, and then they have to watch a Roman match. All due respect.
Yeah.
So maybe they were like, well, the Roman order didn't work last year, but I would have put it in the KO position personally, but whatever. 100%. It is what it is.
I'm going to put you in the KO position. It's a new bit of smack like that. Let's say that to someone. But the problem is with it is predictability. And I'm very critical with AEW on this at the minute, but at least with this, there was the opportunity or the risk that, because it was a fatal four-way, that maybe Orton could win it or something like that.
Yeah.
But no one ever really thought that was going to happen.
No, I think a lot of people have pointed out this. I don't know if you class it as a botch. I think they tried to defend it, but like the fact that the Roman stacked. Did he stack AJ on top of? No, AJ went there, so he stacked Randy on.
I can't remember. He made a pile.
He made a pile of people, and then fucked off and dealt with AJ.
Yeah,
and then you're like, well, isn't that a pin?
Exactly. And then like commentary tried to cover it up or something, didn't they?
Yeah, they tried to explain it away, and they're like, both shoulders were down. So
that was
it. I was like, no.
Yeah, really, Roman lost that belt because all the referee had to do was count.
Yeah, and we're there like, counts.
Yeah, so that didn't make sense.
But yeah, it was AJ. Fucking awesome, to be fair. I think it's interesting because from what I've seen on socials as well, so many people are just kind of done with Solo interrupting.
I was about to say, like, I'm so over it.
It's like paid by numbers at this point, isn't it? And so many people are fucking done with it. And he nearly killed Samantha as well, going through the barricade.
Yeah.
That was close, man. That was close. Like... I mean, fair play. Get out of the way! Dive! But that was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad match, but like you say, we knew what was going to happen, even to the point we knew there was going to be an interruption from Solo, probably.
Yeah. As you said, paid by numbers, and I don't think it was ever in doubt that Roman was going to retain.
But where to next? That is the question.
Yes. Well, where to next on this show?
Oh, right.
Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. Again, predictable. Don't think either of us thought Logan was going to lose, and we knew there'd be shenanigans involved.
I think we knew there'd be the shenanigans. I think a lot of socials seem to not like this, and I kind of agree. It's like no one sees the brass knuckles until fucking KO is wearing them, and then suddenly the ref can see through people.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it?
He just suddenly stood up and was like, "No, you're wearing them." Like, you must have known about that before you started counting.
Exactly. He's like, 1, 2, oh. Like, is that what you do? You just check the wrestlers out when you're counting.
Well, he would have had to have gone up and looked. He basically was ready to call him out whether he was wearing brass knuckles or not.
Oh yeah.
But obviously, kayfabe, he knew.
Yeah. It was like the match itself was good, wasn't it? To be fair, Logan Paul still good.
There's no disrespect to Logan when I say this. It's probably the least memorable of Logan's matches, and they can't all be like, wow, he did something insane. But like, this is probably the least memorable.
Yeah. To be honest, though, like to that point, now that he's going to be more full time, it's like he can't rely on doing a big show stealing kind of spot every match he has now, because he's going to have to start having more of them. So
yeah, true.
I think for what it was.
But he's still a natural athlete.
Was it Austin Theory and Grayson Waller who helped him? No. Was it?
No, it was, yeah. Because the ref spotted his mate.
Oh, yeah.
And then they came out acting like they were trying to get rid of the mate and then took the knucks and passed them over.
Yeah.
As you do, because we have to be involved in some way, don't we?
Yeah, so that was interesting. But, match itself I thought was fine. Logan retained, so I don't think it's the end of it, though. Maybe we'll get some kind of no DQ follow-up at the Chamber or something.
I mean, he kind of got screwed over, so I feel like they're following that up.
Yeah. More than likely.
Speaking of more than likely.
To the men's rumble, Cody Rhodes, back-to-back winner. Didn't see it coming, if I'm honest. I thought it was absolutely punk. But, good job it wasn't.
Absolutely punk.
Because punk is
totally
fucked.
It's the thing, though, when you talk about predictability. Like, who went into this rumble and didn't think that it was going to be these two at the end?
Oh god, yeah. Like it was obvious.
The only unpredictable bit was who's going to win out of these two. You get 30 men involved just so it could end up being these two, and we all knew it was going to happen this way. So as far as the men's rumble goes, highly predictable in that sense.
I don't like this new trend as well of like the last two in the rumble end up just having like a 10-minute match.
I know, yeah. That's a Codyism, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Overproduction at its finest.
Yeah.
Cody's involved in rumbles now, so they last about 7 hours.
The thing is,
this could have been done before 5 o'clock in the fucking morning.
The thing is, though, both the rumbles felt eerily similar to last year. Like the finish on the women's was very much the same.
Yes, to be fair.
This was very similar as well.
They're trying to recreate some magic, aren't they?
Yeah. But Cody wins it back-to-back with the fourth person to do it in company history. So
he entered much later this time, though.
Yes,
so that's the difference. He's lazy Cody this time.
Yeah, and he has called out Roman Reigns, obviously. But then Seth Rollins was like, "Oh, what about me?" And he's like, "I'll think about it."
Like, nobody wants your belt, Seth. It's ugly.
Exactly.
It's actually not. I quite like his belt.
Yeah, it is. But so Cody is the winner. CM Punk is injured, so he's missing Mania, which isn't ideal. We kicked off the show with the Usos, right? And
commentary flubbing again.
Yeah,
acting like they've fucking not seen each other.
Yeah. I was a bit disappointed. So there's the belief that this is going to end up being a match at WrestleMania, brother versus brother.
Okay.
So they kicked it off, and then that didn't revisit it at all.
No.
They had like a little bit of a fight, and then that was it.
Yeah, and then they kind of
didn't
went
touch again for the rest of the...
Isn't that the Usos through and through? They had a little bit of a fight and then went the separate ways.
Basically, yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, and it's made just again. This is where I stressed earlier at the beginning of the show. Personal opinion. I know some other people feel differently, and I'm not trying to shit on it, but is anyone that bothered about the Usos? Like, I think one thing we've realised by separating them and making main event
Jay
is that Sammy was the entertaining part of the bloodline.
Yeah.
Solo doesn't talk, and these two are not actually as charismatic as you think they were.
No.
And I feel like giving them that Solo attention has kind of shown that Sammy was the it factor with the bloodline, and I'm kind of not entertained. I wouldn't even be that asked about this match between the two of them, to be honest with you.
There is that. I wouldn't overlook when it was Jay versus Roman and Sammy wasn't involved, because then Jay was over. But it's a classic example of where they've had something massively hot and they've let it cool right the fuck down.
Yeah.
So it just didn't feel like Sammy now. Like we'll talk about him in a sec, but like he doesn't get the same reaction now that he was doing a year ago.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So it's
I feel like they've done that with the bloodline as a whole. Like, because we're all a little bit confused with Jimmy, aren't we? Like, so you left the bloodline, but you came back just because you had nothing else to do. That's kind of a weird story in itself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The whole thing's kind of... Because, like, he decided to leave and then came back, and now it's like, Solo's there, and it's like, well, yeah, he's the only one who didn't fuck him off, so why are you surprised, actually?
Yeah. To be fair. But yeah, we also had Anthony Dyan, and Andrade is returned. He is back in WWE.
This time he was dressed like a fireman.
Interesting, his theme song was like El Idolo, but then he was just Andrade.
Yeah, it was Andrade. It's the Our Masters on the graphics. Yeah. So I don't understand. He clearly is going back to that, but yeah, it did say El Idolo.
Yeah. But fans seemed happy. It's good to have him back. Looks like he's signed with Raw, so let's see what he does over on the Red brand.
He's talented as fuck guy. So
well, exactly. We also saw Omos. Haven't seen him for a while.
That's true.
Didn't do a whole lot.
That's also
Probably
true.
won't see him for a while again.
Also true.
So yeah.
Also, like, it's a weird hoodie, isn't it?
It is a bit. It's like I think it might just be one of AJ Styles. It's a regular size hoodie. A small man's hoodie.
I really hope that's the case.
It's just a normal one. And yeah, so I just wanted to touch on, obviously, the main event for WrestleMania now seems to be Cody versus Roman 2. Thoughts? Happy that we're running it back?
I mean, yeah and no. Like, he needs to finish the story. I really kind of wish they didn't go exact. Like, we didn't get it the first time, which is when they should have done it. And we both agreed that that's when they should have done it. So instead, they just go beat for beat what they did last time. It's like, well, let's have them win the Rumble. Let's have them get to Mania. Like, I mean, WWE at this point may as well just screw them over again. We need to finish the story. Roman's obviously going to have some time away. It's got to be Cody, and rightly so. But I still feel like it should have been last year.
If you remember my wild predictions, Anthony, Cody Rhodes wins and Damian cashes in. And he's still not the champion out of me.
I mean, I would kind of like that. I know that it'll just be another like battle for Cody to have to win it back again. But I would kind of like that.
And then he chases it for another year.
Although, can he, like, when does that fucking briefcase run out?
Money in the Bank, I think. We get 12 months, actually. So who knows what they're going to do. I'd like to hope it's not going to be a failed cash-in for Damian, because I like Damian, but
the more time goes on, the more I'm expecting that to be the case, to be honest.
But, so that might have some involvement with it anyway. And then once Cody wins, what do you do? How do you get to Roman versus Rock if that is ever going to happen?
Well, I mean, naturally, Roman Rock is, it doesn't need the belt.
No.
It needs the storyline, but doesn't need the belt. So it just needs Roman being a dick and Rock. For me, I
think Gunther would be the ideal first opponent for Cody, but then obviously Gunther has to lose, which isn't ideal.
But he's going to have to drop the belt at some point to move into the main event scene. It'd be a great one for Cody. I just... Part of me feels like Cody having a face run as the champion will get a little bit obnoxious pretty quick. And I hope that they kind of acknowledge that the natural progression after that is to become an ungrateful heel. I feel like that's storyline-wise how it should go.
He's like the modern age John Cena, though, isn't he? All the kids love him and stuff like that. So I can't see what you're saying.
You know what? It may just be a thing for me. But, like, and if the kids continue to love him and he continues to get the crowd behind him, then sound, that'll work. I just, when you look at it and go, is it going to go the way of AEW and the crowd starts souring on him because he's kind of naturally, like, should have moved to the heel role and didn't? Well, here's people started doing that with Cena, but it took a long time. So much time, in fact, the WWE were like, actually, we're just going to leave it be.
Well, here's a question for you. So the Roman's belt is on SmackDown, right? Cody's on Raw. So does that mean he has to move brands in?
I imagine so.
Interesting.
I mean, Cody's going to be one of them people who transitions brands, though.
Yeah, probably.
Just do whatever the fuck he wants.
Rock up everywhere because he's Cody Rhodes. So yeah, they were our thoughts on the Royal Rumble. What did you think? Is it the GOAT of all the Rumbles, or was it just okay? Let us know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will catch you on the next one.